All right, Thanksgiving's just a few days away, and then Christmas will be right around the corner. Is your car ready to make the trip? We'll give you 8 things in about 8 minutes to check on your car to make sure it's ready to go. All right, so you're going to need to have 3 basic inexpensive tools if you don't already possess them. That would be a digital tire pressure gauge. If you have a stick gauge and you know it's accurate, use it. An antifreeze tester. This is less than $1. I purchased it at Walmart. You can find them on Amazon. Google antifreeze checker and it should pull you up something for you to own one. And the last thing is a tread depth gauge. It's in increments of 30 of an inch, and this one also has millimeters. So those 3 things, you'll be able to do the following tests on your vehicle. All right, first thing you're going to do, check the oil level and condition. If it's been a while since it's been changed, go ahead and change it. When oil gets cold, it's resistant to flow. All right, so the next thing we'll check will be our coolant. Check the level, take a look, make sure it's not rusty or any corrosion. Take your tester, pull some up in the bulb, and see how many of the indicator balls float. There are 3, and there comes one right back to the top. So I have 4 of these balls floating. It indicates I am at negative 25 degrees. Most manufacturers recommend coolant mixture level be run at 50-50, which will be good to about negative 35-36 degrees, somewhere in there. If your vehicle is equipped with a overflow jug, you usually can follow the overflow hose back to the jug and check the level. This will be mixed with 50-50 coolant, just like it's in the radiator. If it's empty and you need to use the vehicle, make sure you're only using good clean water to fill this jug. But keep in mind that that could dilute the coolant level. So only add water if you absolutely have to. Okay, so the next thing we're going to want to check will be our brake fluid. It'll have on the side of the reservoir, you'll be able to see a minimum and a maximum level. And you should be on most reservoirs, they're a clear see-through container now, and you can see how dark it is. This brake fluid is actually in need of changing, and you can see the level right through the side, no problem. Level is okay, and that is the most critical. Brake fluid should be changed approximately every 2 years. All right, let's talk about batteries real quick. I'm gonna give you the real world truth as I know it about batteries and what I have experienced, because I do this every day in and out for a living. This battery in this car is less than 1 year old. Probably don't need to test it, probably don't need to do anything to it. If your battery is over 1 year old, take it into somewhere that can test it and see that it is in good operating condition. This battery can actually have the caps removed and the fluid level checked. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, be advisable that you have on some kind of gloves if you have some handy, and some kind of an eye protection. But you want to be careful because you're dealing with battery acid. All that wet right there is battery acid, so you don't want to get it on paint or finishes or your hands if at all possible. And with a non-sparking light, see if you can shine some light, and you should be able to look down in the battery, and the fluid that's in the battery should be covering the plates that are inside. Should you need to add water to the battery to top it up just a little bit of distilled water is all you need. Last thing I'm going to say on batteries, and this applies to most batteries that are lead acid batteries, if your battery is 3 years old or older, just go put a new battery in. Don't test it, don't look at it, just go have a new battery put in. 3 years and you're getting to the end of the life's battery. They're not made as good as they used to be. So that's my opinion, and that's what I see on a day-to-day basis. All right, this will be the last major fluid check under the hood, and that is the transmission. Many new vehicles now are eliminating the transmission dipstick tube, and you have to take it either into a dealer or some kind of a service center to have it checked. But this being an older vehicle, you can check the transmission fluid with no problem. Now, let me go in here and crank it up and we'll check it. All right, transmission fluid level was good. Let's wipe the stick off. I'm gonna get in here. I want to explain a couple of things. If your vehicle actually has a transmission dipstick. All right, there's a couple things I want to explain on the transmission dipstick. On these dipsticks, you have a cold, you have 2 marks for the cold, and you have 2 marks for the high. Okay? The bottom indicates cold low, and to fill it to the cold high mark is 1 pint. If you've driven the vehicle at least 3 miles or more and you check the transmission fluid, the first notch up at this point is hot low, and this indicates hot full. Okay? If it's anywhere in between those 2 ranges, it is probably okay. Nothing needs to be done. Alright, one of the tools I mentioned at the beginning of this video was a tread depth gauge. Tires in the US are generally measured with as 32nds of an inch. You can see that this tire has 1, 2, 3, 4 major tread grooves in it. That is where you're going to place your tool. Stick it down in there and read the measurement. This tire measures in at 5/32. Let's check another groove. That tread depth, 5/32. That tread depth, 5/32. And final tread depth, 5/32. Let me explain to you about tread depth. When your tire reaches 6/32, you need to begin shopping for tires. When your tires reach 4/32, you need to go ahead and replace them. 2/32 is legal, but is really too thin. Alright, so the next aspect we'll to discuss with tires is the air pressure. You can come right here in your driver's door jamb. Most automobiles, this data plate is located right inside the driver's door and will tell you everything you need to know about your air pressure recommendations. Alright, if something has happened to the data tag in the driver's door of your car, or there is not one located there, you can also reference the sidewall of the tire, and somewhere printed on the sidewall of the tire is the maximum cold inflation for that tire. £33 pounds. Alright, one of the final things you need to check are your headlights. Do they come on? Do the brights operate? The passing? And let's check our flasher indicators. Do they come on and work? Alright, so then we'll move to the rear of the vehicle and we'll do the same thing. See if the brake lights will come on and ensure that the 4-way flashers are working. Cover the last 2 items. One thing I forgot under the hood to mention is your washer fluid. Adding a de-icing washer fluid to this will help you in the wintertime should you have ice and snow on your windshield to melt it off and be able to get going on the road a little bit faster. Also prevents the fluid in the tank from freezing. And finally, the last item that you might want to consider, the last thing I'm going to mention is a small first aid kit, an emergency blanket, a few bottles of water, and a few protein bars. So should you become disabled on the road, you'll be able to keep going until help can arrive to get you out of that situation. I really hope that you got something out of this review, refresher, reminder about a few things to check on your car. We're right here at the holiday season, and I hope this will help you get over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house and back home safe and sound. And until next time, why don't you go on out and watch another video coming on the screen right now.